talk about indigenous knowledge, cultural values, 14 categories. You'll have more information. But anything to do with Mashujaa, seated right there is my boss. So, you know, after chap, boss akisema it needs to happen. So thank you. Nimefurahia sana. Wow. Thank you. Good morning to Michael from Organization of Africa. So I think it's also good to introduce our panel. Just introduction.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Maureen Caroline from Tinada Youth Action Africa.
Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. David Mbuthia. I am the Deputy Director in charge of research at the National Heroes Council.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jacob Lumi from Young Professionals for Development.
And you've left one.
What?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm the National Co-Convener and Secretary of the Young Professionals CSO Network. An umbrella body of all the town CSO networks.
Thank you. And I request if you could speak slightly louder because of noise outside so that our audience can hear. So I'll just go straight to, it's a small interview, and thank you for coming. So to Carol from Tinada. You work around mental health issues, and we have young people. The main thing that we're looking at is recognition of young people who are doing marvelous work. All of us here. That is why we have the Heroes Council here.
Yeah.
And from your perspective, how much can a young person push herself without affecting the mental health? To achieve the objective that they want to in their life, really without really pushing to be seen, to be recognized, but achieving what they want to do. And what support systems really need to be in place to help these young people to achieve their potential, either voluntarily or in place of work.
Thank you very much. As young people, like I mentioned, those who are here, first of all, you need to identify yourself, know whom you are, and say that, get to understand that this is what I can do and this is what I want to do. If you know yourself, you'll be able to understand that whatever I'm getting into is because of what I want to do, not to be seen and not to be heard. If you do that, then it gives you an opportunity to expand more, so that in case you're not recognized, you can still move forward. And then if you are recognized, now you know how to balance yourself. I've seen a lot of young people when they do something and they're recognized and they're outside there, when they become irrelevant, they get into other things that are not really worth it, just to stay on the radar, right? So, but if you know yourself and something called self-awareness, I can only go this far, and I can also try to reach where I'm not supposed to reach with the help of the people around me. But yesterday we talked about mentorship, and if you also get mentors who can help you to move forward, they will make you understand that where you are going is not really good for you, and you need to take a break. It will also help you to understand that you need to go to a platform where you can be recognized and still be able to be relevant and still be able to take care of your mental health. But if you do not do that, then you're going to force yourself into a platform that you're not supposed to be in, and if things don't work out the way you want, then now you start becoming stressful. And then apart from that also, it will also help you understand the level of the tension that you can take. Stress usually comes in when there's too much pressure, and like I said before, pressure is when you cannot take what you expected. Pressure is also good because it makes you look for other direction. If this does not work, the stress that it comes with it will make you think otherwise or think on other directions that you're supposed to take. But if you do not do that, then the pressure becomes too much, expectation becomes too much for you, you can't meet the expectations, and then you break down. When you break down and don't have somebody mentor to support you, you find yourself starting to take drugs, going out to have fun and doing things that are not supposed to be done. You start getting into friends who do not really care. You don't get into spaces where you can actually talk to somebody. And stress does not only come through fun alone. It also hide in churches. People go to church and hide there. People hide in workplaces. Somebody's working so hard. Kumba kona nini akona stress. Some other people will indulge into sexual activity that are not recommended. They will indulge in violence that are not recommended, you see. But if you have a mentor with you who can help you to manage your stress, then now you can be able to move forward without really breaking down with mental health issues. And then as I finish, know when to call for help. Know when to say, from here, let me take a break and move forward next time after I've gotten myself stable again to move ahead.
Thank you. So we are all heroes here. I think we are taking that lesson. So to Sheila, what? Yeah, you can. What kind of good work have you seen from young people, especially those working around health, sexual reproductive health or general health, and also around climate action, that you really feel they are doing work that needs to be recognized? So just some examples on things that you've seen that are working well, but being done by young people, whether they're recognized or not, and bringing change to the society. Thank you.
Okay, so maybe I'll start with climate because that has been my recent field. So in terms of climate, a lot of our urban cities, we have a waste management issue. I usually tell people, if those people that take your waste every day fail to come for a week, you'll be like, it's okay. If they fail to come for 2 weeks, you'll start worrying. If they don't come for a month, it's going to be a very big crisis, let's say in Nairobi City County. And those are young people who really push themselves to work in a very undignified environment. Have you ever gone through where waste is being, sorted and all those things? And that is often looked at as a dirty job, but at the end of it all, it's the foundation of all cities, because at the end of the day, waste is produced every minute and someone has to take them out. Yeah. So I usually really value the waste pickers and the waste management at those levels. I think maybe 2-3 months ago, I was speaking to the solid waste management director in Mombasa County, and he was telling me how the solid waste management issue in Mombasa has been difficult because there are a lot of organic waste and nobody knows how to take them out. You can only recycle plastics and all those things, but when you look at organic waste, no one knows how to take them out. And I was telling him, actually there are a group of young people in Nairobi who are using the black soldier fly to break down organic waste into fertilizer, and therefore making the economy circular and completing that circle. And that is what is working in Nairobi. And so I think those are one of young waste managers and waste pickers are one of the people I think are unrecognized heroes and should be given more credit for the work that they do. In terms of health, a lot of young people I see do a lot of work are advocates. Health is a very sensitive topic. There are young people who go out there and really advocate for health in terms of even financing, in terms of commodity availability. We all know that when we run out of vaccines in this country, it blows up overnight. And so I see young people doing work around advocacy around health, and especially health financing as our heroes of today.
Thank you so much. So Jacob, sorry we ambushed you, but you're always prepared.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So before I go to him, please just imagine if we didn't have the waste pickers here, and even those people are working at the mobile toilets, and we have been here for 3 days. I think you can picture what Sheila is talking about, those people at the low level. So when we leave here, I think we just need to tell them you are doing a good job, to encourage them. Jacob, being the national co-convener of the CSO's devolution work, what are some of the good work that you've seen being done around devolution by government or citizens that you really feel need to be amplified around devolution? Today we want to talk just about good things because we have the Heroes Council here.
In this space I work, leadership and needs. One of the good things which has been done before is about with a lot of civic awareness for the youth. These are more aware, they know their roles, to push for issues, to advocate. There before we used to advocate in the streets, you remember? During President Moi's era, we were on the streets. Students from universities, youth in the villages everywhere, youth in political parties, we used to demonstrate a lot in the streets. Because of civic education by that time, many donors are in support of civic education, leadership and governance for the youth. So the young people are much aware of their rights, much aware of their rights, of their responsibilities, they are much aware of governance matters in this country. But now the shift has gone to another level, digital level. During our age, when we were young, there was no digital platforms, but now there are digital platforms which are around where the youth can access for the space, civic space. They are no longer in the streets again. So in this case then, the Gen Z generation is the digital generation, where they are fighting for their rights, for better governance, for leadership through digital platforms. So that's the good thing now we have. ICT is a good thing we are having right away. The other thing also we are having, there is not much civic education for the young people. Those who have beyond 25 years as today, they have not been sensitized a lot on matters governance, but they are aware of their rights in terms of they get information through online platforms, which is a capacity. They have been capacitated a lot. Yeah. The third thing which is very critical is that our young people can be able to aspire for political seats. Where before, in the other era, the millennium era, we used to have youth who can also who used to be supported by knowledge. Somebody has to be, they used to have some political supporters who can work with a senior politician who can work through with them. But now young people can get seats, can seek elections and get elected without having to have an adult mentor for that case, adult supporter. Now it's a lot. Young people they are getting elected, they are getting the government positions in this country, which is a good achievement. And the last one is about what the government is doing. The government is doing a lot on youth empowerment, on matters governance, but not much. They are doing with peace bill. They have not given adequate funding for the youth council. They are not given adequate funding for the youth in this country to support them in leadership. But in other matters, they have done a lot. Like when you look at the youth in the health sector is well funded. In this country, the health sector is the most well funded sector for the young people in this country. Both from CSO perspective, field research perspective, there is a lot of NGOs dealing with health matters for the youth. There is a lot of funding from government parastatals, agencies like NASCOM, we have NCDCC and others who have a lot of money to fund health matters. But they don't have much funding for the youth in terms of governance. Because they fear they will be toppled from power. So that's my take.
Thank you so much, and it's good we have the council here. And my take is on you are saying that us here, actually we're in NYC space, which is youth work space. It's defined in the National Youth Policy as youth worker. So probably the council may need to think of how do we recognize the youth workers. These are people who empower the youth to the level that now they're more civically aware. So who is the force behind them? So are there some heroes who are empowering youth without being seen to the level that they are more aware and empowered? And then can the council also look at young people who are positively using digital spaces for advocacy to be recognized? Then I think the other one that it might take, the other one is you talked about resourcing. Really, it means the government needs to invest more, like in the National Youth Council, so that more youth heroes emerge. So if their work is not resourced, then we will not have many young heroes emerging. So I'll now give it to the government. You say the government. Really, Daktari, if you could tell us, many people are not aware about the council. I'm sure you always just see on Mashujaa days, people being recognized. Unajiuliza hao ni kina nani wametoka, ndio? And you also want actually your work to be recognized. so that during Mashujaa Day, we see Amon, we see Brenda, we see our friend from Nyeri. Yes. So, Daktari, if you could tell us about the council and what it does, and then if you can give response to the three panelists, what they have talked about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate this opportunity to talk to these young people here who also happen to be leaders of different organizations that are creating opportunities and awareness to their fellow youth. I am Budhia David. I am the Deputy Director in charge of research at the National Heroes Council. Now, I want to begin by briefly introducing the National Heroes Council to you. This is the council that is in charge of identifying and causing to be honored national heroes. Now, I want to make a little bit of a distinction between the National Heroes Council and some of the other award systems that you may be aware of. We are not the ones who give EBS, HSC, OGW. Those are given by the Presidential National Awards Committee. Now, the National Heroes Council is established by the Kenya Heroes Act of 2014, and we only came to operation in earnest in 2023. But 2020 is when we started setting up mechanisms, so establishing the organization as it were, and that administrative work came to a close in 2023. By then is when we had described the job descriptions, the different positions, and so we had the hot, or rather would say the first team, or the first very lean team of the council was engaged in 2023, the month of June. So we are a very nascent institution, if I were to say. Now, because I have said that the role of the council is to identify and cause to be honored national heroes, first of all, I want to explain who these national heroes are by explaining the categories in which heroes are honored. 2007, or rather if we go a little bit back to 2003, you will remember that around that time we were rated as the most optimistic nation under the sun. And we were a nation with a lot of gratitude, and we continue to feel this, and we had some kind of renaissance. And the then President Mwai Kibaki, brought the issue of us as a nation wanting and needing, or rather his government responded to us wanting and needing to recognize our nationhood. And part of doing this is to celebrate our heroes. So around this time, if you all remember, the Mau Mau ban was lifted. Struggled for our nation, then stopped being regarded to as terrorists, as they were regarded by the colonialists, but they started being recognized as national heroes. It is in this spirit, and being added on the background of what had been the push for democracy, that we were able to later promulgate our constitution, which in its preamble states that we recognize and cherish those who heroically struggled for the freedom of this nation. And in 2007, a task force was put together to move around the nation and ask Kenyans, whom do we regard as our heroes? for a very long time, the feeling in this nation, or the perception in this nation had largely been that the heroes of this nation are those who fought for our freedom, and more specifically the Mau Mau. And so there was almost a feeling that heroes from this nation came from a particular region. And so a purposeful evaluation, stock taking was taken through this task force. And when they moved through our nation, so many areas were identified in which Kenyans thrive and do things for the benefit of fellow Kenyans and humanity. These were put into 14 categories. So we have those who fought for our liberation. We have those who are in the field of sports. We have arts. We have indigenous knowledge. We have cultural values. We have those who are in philanthropy. We have those who are in environmental conservation. There are actually 14 categories. And these are the categories that are spelled in the first schedule of the Kenya Heroes Act of 2014. Is that every year, in the month of July, the National Heroes Council releases a call on the web. It is put in at least one daily, and all one has to do if you have a person in mind whom you think should be nominated as a national hero, you fill in that form. Exemplary performance, selflessness, commitment to the common good. You feel what it is that they have done. You attach all the supporting documentation that you may have about this, and you send back to the council. What happens is that there's a committee and goes through all these forms. So you find in each of the categories, so many people would have been nominated. So depending on the number that the council is picking that year, based on other factors as budgetary issues and where, then the correct number is picked from these who have been nominated. And these are read on at least 2 dailies, and then we have feedback, because we might pick somebody from what they might have done professionally. In that case, we get the information at the point of public participation, and we are able not to go with the forward with the nomination of such a firm, and the names are announced, and on the Mashujaa Day, they are honored. Now, by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, and a medal with their name and which states. They also get a uniform for national heroes for that day, for the event of that day, but which they can wear to any other occasion where they may deem to include every segment of the society in terms of the age distribution, gender segmentations. For example, the youth and children are not left behind. Last year, some of you, if not all of you, Bani in Nyeri County, there is a boy who was hailed for having saved himself, his colleagues, and he successfully saved a few boys until it was not possible anymore, and they regrettably had to save themselves by exiting the space. We became aware of that act. And as a council, we were able to pick this because he was also nominated by people as a national hero. And see, we could not eliminate him because of his age. This boy did this with a motivation that was beyond personal interest. He did not do this for the sake of money, but he did this for the value that he has for life, the sanctity of life, the love for his fellow learners, and the love of this nation. 2020, because I think the nurses were still at the hospital, having been marooned by some waters, and it was just a miracle that this girl was able to brave all the odd circumstances, and she made it possible for the mother to deliver safely in the hospital, and the baby was safe, the mother was safe. And again, this came to our attention because we read from the media, but also the girl was proposed by some citizens that she should be recognized as a hero or a heroine. From the National Youth Council, we have had some partnership through our work, whereby, for example, in 2023, one of, I think, the mentees of this program, Elizabeth Wathuti, who hailed from Nyeri and who has been very active at the national platform and international one as well in issues environmental conservation and climate change action, was recommended to the council, and were able to pick, and through the supporting documents and of course through our research, we were able to see what she had been able to accomplish. And so we honored her, we caused her to be honored by His Excellency the President as a national heroine of this nation. So we have a diversity of heroes from all walks of life, from all calibers of profession, from all areas and endeavors of this life. All that is required is for one to be doing this thing purposely, driven by a motivation that is beyond their self-interest. And the cases that I have talked about demonstrate this. We, as a council, and we like it when it is the people who are in the spaces you're talking about. For us, we are very happy when one of you is nominated by yourselves, whereby you are telling us, as youth leaders, we are all working. But this particular gentleman, this particular lady, for some reason, has gone an extra mile.
Yeah.
And here we have the evidence. You compile those and send to us. As the Heroes Council, you can try us, you can test, you can look at our performance. I've just picked a few, but every year there's very good representation of the youth. Last year again we honored James. What is the name of this popular DJ? It's just to show you that we are not stuck to what you might call the conventional professions.
Motif Didon.
Motif Didon. Motif Didon. Who would know who Motif Didon is? You guys don't surprise me. You don't know him? You're just like me, old school. This is a guy who does the discs like this, and some good music comes up, and young men are able to jump to feel energized. And yeah, the young people convince us.
Yeah.
This is the guy who is moving our one.
Yeah.
And we also looked at the kind of the vibes he creates, keeping young people energized, the kind of the messages he's giving with his music, the kind of influence he has had. Because you also want to see, is he doing this with a positive influence? Because you don't want to tell me that if a person is very, very active on stage and the kind of the things that he is spewing are the things that then send the young people to go and do antisocial things, that we may want to honor this person just because they are very vibrant and they have a big following. No, we also look at the national values, because the role of the council is to contribute towards building a nation. Because you will remember that, imagine, it's about the values that we put across for all of us to emulate and act according to those values. So we work with Wazee Mtaani, everybody. We do not discriminate the nomination forms depending on where they come from. Even when individuals have nominated themselves, and there is documentation to show this, and when we do research we find that this is the truth, we shall not turn down a nomination just because a person spoke about what they have done. It just has to have something that speaks to that veracity, that truth. So that is how we do it. Now, in terms of speaking to what my fellow panelists have said, I like it very much what Caro said initially, that it is really about what you purpose to do. When you set forth to go and do something, what is motivating you? And she said, even as you are in here, you are here representing some segments of youth, isn't it? You are youth leaders here. And you're not less a leader just because you are youth and because you're representing a small group of people and of that particular age. If the reason you're doing it is so that you can shine tomorrow, is so that people can clap for you, is so that you can trend, you will be so much disheartened if tomorrow and the day after this doesn't happen. You will be having a very short-lived goal. You'll be having a very invalid objective. But if the reason why you are doing what you are doing is because you believe in the contribution it has to this nation, to your fellow youth, to humanity, then you don't mind. You will do it today, you will be motivated tomorrow, you will be motivated the day after. Of course, keeping some checks, like he was advising, from the psychological aspect, that you also take charge of your health and you will keep doing the work. And what will happen is that people with eyes like ours, the National Heroes Council, those exemplary performances, we will meet you somewhere on the way as you are doing your work. So that is the way to go. It all depends on you defining what is your purposes in life. Learning every day, taking all the positive lessons, and moving forth, and you will get to your destination. That is what I would want to say. And at least it's a government body that every young person should be a friend.
Yeah.
And how many of us here know Elizabeth or have heard about or we have like yes, I think there is a mural of mine which is a she's flying all over the world to speak about environmental issues, and she, just an ordinary person who went to Kenyatta University, came to our organization to learn about youth work, registered organization and started. And I remember her struggling at YMCA to even get money for the whole and recognized. She's now all over the world. So and maybe two questions, two guys, or comment, and then we wrap it up, because there's another group that's working for the national discussion.
One thing I've learned is that I interact a lot with Roger. This means I hear talk Kuja, when they apply to be heroes, I get to be the first to see. We are the people down there. Daktari can attest to that. And Kenyans, no matter where, nobody is beyond 30 years old. Here, I'm speaking to 26 years old, 27, I'm 27. This is our country. And where am I seeing this? Why are we here in Homa Bay? It's because of politics.
Yeah.
Some let us be the first to register our voters. Let us be up. If you have any ambition, don't get lied to at Tingoja 2027. Start now. Start talking to the people, right? Right where people want to put the youths where they think the youths deserve to be done. Please, sikia ukiwa na nguvu, let that ambition, let all the MCAs be youths.
Be good heroes. Huh? So another comment, just so JB, they should face when they speak. Okay, so
really amazing things. And OUI, we can attest to this. We held a summit on 7th and 8th, and there are really good innovations from young people. And they are contributing to our climate.
speak for that.
I would address Daktari again. You talked about the National Heroes Council. I don't know how much you need to know about the council.
Yeah.
Thank you, panelists, for wonderful presentation, and Daktari as well. Mine also goes to Daktari. Happens to the award. And secondly, I think it's closely linked to what my brother talked about. Apart from just the items to honor them, is there a way, maybe like a hall of fame, just something to just kind of highlight the good work that different people are doing, that even though they may not